Hello and welcome to Tribes to Trek episode 3. When we left off, we had just conquered Lagan, and we're gonna be taking off from there. So one thing I noticed, I have free investiture, so I'm going to set up some more of my appointments. I'm going to give my Chancellor the first available bishop spot, since my bishops are going to want to be on the council, and he's a good counselor already. And I'm going to resume here at 3/4 speed. I think my next objective, my next midterm goal is going to be to improve my tribal organization, but I can't set that to a vote for another 3 years. Meantime, got another opportunity to mint some coins. So I think I'm going to do some debased mints again. Let's get myself some more prestige and gold. Now I do have another goal, hopefully before Congalach kicks the bucket. I'd love to get my prestige up to 1,000. And I realized one way to do that that would also get me some gold income would be to declare a few little wars and make some of my neighbors tributaries. So I'm just going to wait until my levies have recharged here. My spymaster is successful in stealing some tech. So I can pick a military tech to improve. Thinking probably the organization tech, which just gives a global morale boost. The light infantry tech might also be advantageous. I very much am mostly light infantry focused as a tribal power. I have a few archers and a very few heavy infantry. I'll take the light infantry tech for now. Just gonna let my levies recharge a bit here, and then do some little tribute wars. Bishops appreciates my kindness, which is interesting. He's quite a character. Got a temper, brave, gluttonous, arbitrary, and a master seducer as a bishop. Not exactly the most upstanding churchman, but of course you have all kinds. I have the garden event. This tends to cost some gold, but I think it'll give a prestige boost. So I think I'll build up my garden. It also has the potential to give me the gardener lifestyle trait. Who is this fellow? He's the heir to Tirchun. I have a chance to gain diligent. I think I already am diligent, yeah. So I can acquire some help and potentially make a friend who will someday inherit, potentially will someday inherit, a neighboring county. think I'll impress my religious fellows by adding some proper religious statuary to my garden. The wine fountain is a little bit decadent, but I'll build a large traditional fountain. Since I do have a reasonable gold surplus at the moment. And I'll just wait for the garden event chain to finish before I do anything major here. I think I'll avoid importing potential invasive species. I don't think that's very much a concern for the at the time, but I'll just save some cash by not importing things. I'll build a pavilion, sure. So I can gain the gardener trait. I'll lose trader. Gardener is a better trait generally. And Dubhlinn is prospering. Which is nice. Improves my tax rate. Makes revolts less likely, although I'm not very concerned about revolts at this point. But I think I'll go ahead and do what I was talking about. Make some neighboring counts my tributaries. Up. I'll merge. I will try to fight their army first and then siege down their province. Oh, do I not have any other commanders? Ah, my commanders are all, except for my son, my commanders are all on the council and assigned to missions. Well, I can afford to leave that without a general, because numbers are the most important factor in battles in this game. I can afford, when I outnumber them 3-1, not to have a strong commander on the flank. So gain some prestige and so I might have to go to defensive war at some point, since the chief of Ergiala has used a claim, has a claim to one of my counties now. These levies are not very large, though. Except for an event-spawned army, which you must have gotten using one of the counselor events. slightly here as I siege down this holding. Looks like there's lots of revolts going on in Northumberland as well. Revolt for Earl Aethelred's claim. Oh my goodness. Tributary war and war with Scotland. That puts Northumberland is in quite a bit of trouble right now. But so Osraige is now my tributary. Gets me some nice extra gold here. Should show up, hopefully next month it should show up in my income levy ledger. Creates a quarter of a gold every month. Not bad. Oh, that's a year. He does not make a lot of gold. Could do the same in Connacht. They have an event-spawned army, though, which I think I'll leave alone. I'm gonna leave Breifne. I apologize if I mangle these pronunciations. I'm not even going to attempt this one. But I am going to see if I can't make him another tributary. So they escaped this time, but I'll probably just let them besiege one of my provinces. I have a head start, and I'll have a larger bonus each week. So my siege should end first, barring too many siege events delaying mine or speeding theirs. But before I besiege the church holding, I'll come and break the siege on my own province here. Now that it's stopped, I'll let them head back and start again. Oh! I thought it would have already charged. Suppose I'll have to actually chase them down. $337 is still enough to besiege either of my secondary provinces, but they'll also be fleeing and on low morale for a while. So the third son, I'm not particularly happy about that when I'm still under Gavelkind and have 3 holdings. I'll give him the thrift focus. So, one of my bishops has passed on. A chancellor. 2 of my bishops have passed on. Huh. Oh no, only one of them has passed on, but it becoming a bishop moved my chancellor off the council for some reason. This Blathmack fellow is a good candidate for my next bishop. So, choosing manually a successor for the bishop spots, it gives quite a large bonus. There's a 25 opinion investiture bonus that how long does it last? A decade? No, it lasts a century, which is basically their entire tributary here. Continue improving the opinion of Kylta. It's also quite safe to make him a cupbearer since his opinion of me is so high. For commander, choose someone with a decent martial skill who isn't one of my counselors, so that I can actually assign him to command some armies. Still have no valid candidates for court physician, though. Ah! Now it's been long enough, and actually a couple months past long enough. I need to change the law. And 4 of my council members will support it. I don't even need to use any favors. My council Spymaster is returning a favor. Bishop. Not sure why there are favors owed between my counselors here, but I'll take advantage since it means that the Spymaster will vote with the bishops, who all approve of increasing the tribal organization. So that gets me one step closer to embracing feudalism. Still need one more of those, which I can do in 5 years. Increase my centralization now. But I don't need to. The centralization laws decrease vassal limit, but increase personal domain limit. But I'm still only at half of the size that I could. Now there's a plot to kill my first son. But sending people into hiding does tend to make them quite paranoid. They tend to get very negative personality traits when they spend a long time in hiding. And I have 3 sons, so I do have quite a bit of insurance against losing one. I think I'm going to take the risk that he'll be... And I'll improve my market village, since I do have some gold to spare. Now I am quite close to my goal of prestige, so I think I will hurry it up here by making one more tributary. The one of the disadvantages of making nearby people tributaries is if someone declares war on them, they can give me a call to arms. But I'm suspecting that none of these small Irish counties will have any large enemies attacking them, and if one of the other neighbouring counties attacks, I'm pretty much the strongest power in Ireland right now, so I can afford to be called into wars and defend my tributaries. And of course, having the tributaries also allows me to call them into a war if I do have to. And it gives me a small portion of their monthly income. This time I have a commander who I can afford to assign. One unfortunate thing about these battles, you can't capitalize very much on a victory without cavalry. The defeated army tends to just leave. You don't take many losses in the pursuit phase of the battle when you don't have any cavalry. I should, right, but I still don't have any ability to hire cavalry at all in my tribal holdings. It's another good reason to try to get to feudalism. And of course, whoever gets there first and gets the cavalry gets a large advantage. Savvy business sense. So, I could fire my steward. To replace him with a most impressive woman who does indeed have a very high stewardship skill. Between a high base skill, a good education trait, and some very advantageous traits. Administrator, just, very impressive counselor indeed. It would reduce my vassal opinion of all my vassals for 5 years, but she is very impressive, and my current Chancellor, I was going to make him a bishop, but he's not one yet. I think I'll do it. She also owes me a favor, but I don't know whether that will be at all relevant in the near future. And before I forget, I'm going to change my bishop appointments. Let me see if I can appoint my spy master. Yes, I can. Now, of course, a high intrigue spy master is not normally the what you'd think of as a bishop, but doesn't actually particularly matter. He won't be as well regarded by the Pope as a high learning one might be. Oh dear. I am getting sick again. Or perhaps not. That was... So I think they might win the siege before I do. I think they will. Why did it... Ah, right. He was my father-in-law. Oh dear, there's quite a plague going on in Kent. The court is in seclusion, hiding to try to avoid getting sick with the measles. Dear, oh dear. Probably won't have any relevance to us, but you never know. So, that. But I've completed besieging both of their holdings. And I've become exalted among men. Now, I don't think I'm going to expand enough in my lifetime to become King of Ireland, so I'll see about to build a war chest. Ambition. 500 gold is quite a bit, but so it's unlikely that I'll complete that before my 68-year-old petty king kicks the bucket, but there's no other ambition he's going to be able to complete either. Now, with my large amount of prestige, I will be able... Ah, flies. I'll continue only improving my capital here. Could oversee construction to speed up building, which I think I will, since I want to get as much of this prestige spent on improving the buildings as I can before Congalach dies. My goodness, another minting, and I'm going to use this Debasement of coins yet again. I can gain some extra archers. Another thing, an important thing in tribal holdings, when you upgrade to feudalism, every 2 levels of most of the buildings convert, rounding down, into 1 level of castle building. So a level 2 war camp will convert to a barracks 1, but a level 1 war camp won't convert to any building. You'll start with no building in that slot for your castle holding. So Bishop has brought to my attention that false relics are being sold. I can certainly afford to lose a very small amount of gold to keep my bishop vassals keeping their good books. Of course, it's important to keep all your vassals friendly towards you. It's doubly important to keep bishop vassals friendly, because as long as they like you more than they like the current pope, they'll pay their taxes to you. If they like the pope more, they'll pay taxes to him. Yet another child. I'll hope for a daughter this time, but if I do get a 4th son, I don't have a 4th holding to go to him. And it does, of course, expand the dynasty and give more redundancy if people start... So, as I anticipated happening fairly soon, Congalach has fallen. Natural death at age 68. So we'll end this episode here, and I'll catch you in episode 4 for the consequences of the succession.